Hey everyone! Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating new study that connects an ancient fruit with a very modern health challenge. We are talking about pomegranates and what they might have to do with managing polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS.
So let's just start with this number, 1 in 10. What's that? Well, that's how many women of reproductive age all around the world are affected by PCOS. It's a condition that is way more common than most people think, and it is notoriously complex.
Okay, so before we even get to the pomegranate part, let's just quickly break down what makes PCOS such a tough nut to crack in the first place.
At its heart, PCOS is a hormonal and metabolic disorder. You'll hear it defined by a few key things: high levels of androgens, which are often called male hormones, irregular ovulation, and of course, cysts on the ovaries. But here's the thing, even with that definition, scientists still don't have the exact causes totally figured out.
And that's really the central challenge, isn't it? Because the root causes are a bit murky, and they're often tied up with other metabolic issues. Treatments can be a real balancing act, and sometimes they come with side effects you'd rather avoid. This has created a huge need for researchers to look for new, maybe even complementary, ways to help manage the condition. And this is where our study comes in. This is where things get really interesting. Researchers turn their attention to a natural candidate that's been part of human diets and medicine for literally centuries: the pomegranate.
So why pomegranates? What's so special about them? Well, you can think of them as these little all-natural chemical factories. They are absolutely packed with powerful bioactive compounds, things like polyphenols and phytoestrogens, which are plant-based compounds that can sometimes have hormone-like effects in the body. So scientists had a hypothesis. Maybe this unique chemical profile could have a really beneficial impact on the tricky hormonal and metabolic environment of PCOS.
But, a hypothesis is just a starting point. You've got to test it. So let's see how the scientists actually put this idea to the test in the lab.
Okay, so here's the game plan they followed. First, they induced PCOS-like symptoms in mice using a hormone. Then, they split these mice into two groups. One group got a daily dose of a specific pomegranate hot water extract. The other group, that's our control group, they didn't get the extract. Then, after 7 weeks, they took a really close look at the ovarian and uterine tissues to see what, if anything, had actually changed.
In what they found, well, it was pretty remarkable. The study suggests that the pomegranate extract was having 3 main beneficial effects inside the body. So let's break them down one by one.
This slide gives you a direct look under the microscope. On the one side, you've got the ovaries from the untreated PCOS mice. And you can see all these cysts and what are called atretic follicles, which basically means follicles that are dying off too early. But then, look at the other side. In the group that got the pomegranate extract, the tissue just looks healthier, with far fewer of those dying follicles.
Now, to really get what's happening here, we have to talk about something called apoptosis. The easiest way to think about it is like a pre-programmed self-destruct sequence for a cell. It's a totally normal, healthy process. But in this PCOS mouse model, it seemed like this program was going into overdrive in the ovarian follicles.
And this is where the extract seems to have made a real difference. The researchers measured a key gene called BAX, which is kind of like the signal that tells a cell to push that self-destruct button. As you can see right here, the PCOS group had really high levels of this pro-death signal. But in the pomegranate group, wow, those levels were significantly lower. It suggests the extract was helping to calm down that overactive process.
Okay, so the second major effect they found was related to oxidative stress. A great way to think about this is like cellular rust. It's damage that just builds up over time from an imbalance in the cell's environment. And antioxidants? They're like the body's cleanup crew for that rust.
And this chart just illustrates that point perfectly. The PCOS mice had high levels of inflammatory genes. These are key markers of that oxidative stress, of that cellular rust. But then you look at the mice treated with the pomegranate extract, and the expression of these genes was way down. This tells us the extract was likely acting as a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent, right where it needed to be.
All right, and that brings us to the third and final piece of this puzzle, the hormones. Like we said earlier, a central feature of PCOS is hyperandrogenism, the overproduction of androgens.
So get this. What the study found was that the pomegranate extract seemed to directly dial down the genetic machinery that was causing this overproduction. The PCOS mice showed these elevated levels of key genes responsible for making androgens, and in the pomegranate group, the expression of those same genes was turned down significantly, pointing towards a more balanced hormonal state.
So, let's just take a step back and put all these pieces together. What are the big takeaways from all these findings? What does it all mean?
In this specific animal model, the pomegranate extract wasn't just a one-trick pony. It seemed to be tackling 3 of the core issues connected to PCOS all at the same time. It reduced that excessive cell death, it fought oxidative stress and inflammation, and it helped regulate the very genes responsible for producing too many androgens.
Now, it is absolutely critical to put this all in context. This is a very promising preclinical study, but it was done in mice. It highlights a potential mechanism for sure, but it is not a clinical trial in humans. These findings are not medical advice, and we need a lot more research before we could ever know if these effects translate to people.
Still, this research opens up such a fascinating avenue for us to explore. It leaves us with a really compelling question. As we learn more about these incredibly complex conditions like PCOS, could part of the solution be found by scientifically unlocking the power of natural compounds that have been right here, part of our world, all along? It's a powerful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.